What's up? What's going on, everybody? And in today's video, we are going to use a bunch of somatic practices to help you relax, restore, and recover. Release the stress that you have in your body and the trapped emotions. Help you to process some of that out and release it and let it go. When that happens, you can flow much better. Your mood is better. Your digestion is better. All sorts of health issues are better when you can actually have energy flowing throughout your body. Now, when I say energy, what do I mean? Because I literally mean energy, frequency, hertz, those kind of things. You have all of that happening inside of your body and at different points, right? So your organs are going to hold different points of tension. They're gonna be a source of various energies inside of your body. And when you have an emotion is just energy in motion, right? So the reason why I like to use the somatic practices is because when you experience things, right, when you experience something, you have a sort of feeling through it, right? So you experience something, hey, I felt this, right? So when you feel something, this means you have to feel it in your body. You do not feel things in your brain. You think about things in your brain, but when you feel something, you feel it in your body, right? So when you say, I feel sad, I feel happy, I feel depressed, I feel elated, I feel joyful, I feel mad, right? Like, you notice that when I said each one of those words, if we even slow it down, you'll see that I had all sorts of different postures for all of those different things. And a posture is basically how the energy of what you're saying and what you're experiencing is showing up in your body. So if you, without talking to somebody, right, you could walk up to somebody and be like, okay, yeah, that person is anxious, sad, mad, or depressed, right, just by their body language, right? But you wouldn't go up to somebody that's walking around like this, right, and be like, whoa, that person's really sad. Right? Like, sure, I guess you could fake it a little bit, but you can't fake it for the long term, and you really can't fake your body out, right? So when you have emotion in your body, you are just storing different sorts of energies, and they're showing up as a certain way in your life. Now, if you have emotions that you don't want hanging around, what's going to happen is you're going to have to basically rid yourself of the previous emotions. And when I say emotions, I'm always talking about the previous energies in motion, right? Because a lot of times energies will get stuck. For example, you have a lot of people hold fear in their low back and in their hips area, right? A lot of people would hold anger somewhere over here, right? And if you think about it, when you're angry, what do you normally do? Everybody has a different pattern, but I know people that clench their teeth, so their jaws are really tight, and they more than likely aren't saying what they want to actually say, so they have all this tightness in the jaw, in the neck, and sometimes it even creeps out to the shoulders, right? People that are angry, a lot of times when you're angry postures like this, you're like this. Also, fear is in the same posture. So what happens if you look at it from a biomechanics standpoint, you're getting a tightening of everything here, and everything's kind of balling up and crunching up. I could imagine that you have some sort of mid-back pain because those muscles here are overstretched. I could imagine that you have tightness in the front of the shoulders, right? You may even have digestive issues because you're constantly here, everything that's supposed to be expanding and contracting in your ribs and your stomach area is just locked down. So if you are trying to change how you look at your situation, right, it would be the best way, or I wouldn't say the best way, right, because there's a whole bunch of different ways, but the easiest way, instead of trying to think yourself out of the situation, which normally doesn't work and just causes you to think more about your problem, right? And when you think about your problem, you get more ingrained into the problem posture. Instead of doing that, what you can do is get in a space and in a place where you can actually release what's going on so that you can rewire and reset the pattern that you want to set. So I know that was a long-winded way of this intro to this practice, but you'll definitely see me putting more videos up of this kind of practice, right? But today, what we're going to focus on is just a release of anger, right? So what we're gonna do here is anger is an emotion, like almost like poison, right? It's like one of those sayings where they say, anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person dies if you're holding it in your body. I'm not saying you don't have a right to be angry. I'm not saying that you can't be angry. I'm saying that if you hold on to anger too long, it's like you drinking poison and hoping the other person dies. Because when you hold on to anger, it's normally out of a place of some sort of fear. So now we have to deal with anger and fear. And normally you might be fearful of something and that causes some sort of shame. So now we're looking at anger, fear, and shame, which are three very, very low vibrational, low on the vibrational chart of emotions, right? Anger, shame, and guilt and fear, they're all the way at the bottom, right? So all those things that you're feeling are really weighing you down, right? And they're bringing you into this sort of posture, and you might have liver issues, right? You might have some autoimmune issues, and this is just because your body's experiencing stress all the time, and it has certain holding patterns. So what we want to do today is work on the holding patterns for anger, right? So the first thing that we're going to do is, now I'm not gonna actually scream just because I don't want to like ruin the audio on here, right? And blow your eardrums out, but you can do this silently if you need to, or actually give out an audible, ah, right? So what we wanna do is process the anger. Right? So even if you don't feel angry right now, there's probably some sort of anger that has been stuck in there. Whether it's from a long time ago and you didn't know, because your subconscious is always holding on to that stuff, and your subconscious is gonna be the thing basically programming your life and programming your body. So it might not be conscious for you that you have a bunch of anger, right? But we're just gonna work on releasing anger if you have some in there. Right? And it'll just also make you like just feel nice and light and tingling. So what we want to do here is, number one, just take notice of how you feel right now. Like how do you feel, like in your neck, in your back, in your shoulders, in your feet, in your hips? Do you feel tight? Do you feel loose? Just notice that, right? And this is just to compare at the end. So just take into account what you feel right now, just how your body feels. Now, we're gonna go into the first form of the exercise. So what we wanna do here is yell, right? So I'm gonna do mine silently, and you can completely do this silently, right? We're gonna go, I don't have a timer here, but we're gonna go for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes. And the goal here is you're trying to process your anger. So you're letting it happen. You're letting it happen. So when I do this, I just give out like you're just so mad, right? And I'm processing that emotion. Sometimes people would like to grab like a pillow or something and just scream into the pillow, or maybe you grab something, and there have been many times, because I do martial arts, I'll just grab a pillow or something and just wail on the pillow for as long as I need to, right? But the goal here is not to keep holding on to it. The goal is to process it all out. So we're gonna take 2-3 minutes for you to process it all out. So you're giving this an all-out push, right? You're gonna get tired of screaming, and then you're gonna keep going, and then you're gonna keep going, and then you're gonna keep going, and then you're gonna keep going until we stop, right? Then you have processed everything out. Well, there might be a little bit more in there depending on who you are and what's going on, but you'll definitely notice a difference, and then we'll go into the rest of the stuff. So I'm actually going to do just the full out release. Some people like to stomp like this. Like, it doesn't really matter. However you want to process your anger, but you have 2 minutes to process your anger, and it's not like a race, but you are making those emotions intense so that your body can get rid of it. Because chances are that you haven't actually processed it, and that's what's really messing you up. And actually, I'm gonna I'm gonna set a timer here because I know when I don't set a timer, it doesn't go well. I go like way over the limit. And I don't want to do that to you guys. So I'm just gonna set a timer real quick on the computer. Don't mind me. Stopwatch. Okay. Stopwatch, here we go. Oh my gosh. Just go to the stopwatch. Why are you being so fancy? All right, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. However you need to process that, whether you're yelling, screaming, kicking, punching something, go ahead and go. Here we go. I've done this so many times. I'm not really holding on to much anger. I'm gassing out. We still got another minute. Sometimes I just like to tense everything up. Tense it all up, tense it all up. And then release. And then go back, tense everything as tight as you can go. The feet, the arms, the hips, and then release. Tense it all up, 30 seconds, tense everything. And then let go. Got another one, tense everything. That's 2 minutes. Now, the next version is tapping. So you could continue to stand or you could sit down. What we want to do here is just tap. We're going on the chest. You can use both hands or you can use one hand. And we're tapping up and down the sternum. We tend to hold some anger there. Another place you can tap is the kidneys in the back here and in the front. We're gonna spend about 4 minutes here just tapping in any of those spots. So it's either here, you're in the front, at your lower abdomen and hips, and then kidneys. And you can choose whichever spot. Maybe you want to cycle through it like I am. I'm going to come down to the ground. And here, I'm just breathing. Nothing specific now. We're gonna focus on that on the next round. But just make sure you're not holding your breath. And start to realize how you're feeling. Do you feel lighter after squeezing everything and then just releasing everything out? This is just a way that you can use to process emotions. That's all we want to do here is not leave the energy stuck inside of your body is to actually move it around and process it out. Because when you're able to move it around and process it out, what ends up happening is you give room for new patterns. A lot of times we don't have quote unquote room for new patterns because we're holding on to so much baggage. And this baggage happens to be tension patterns that we're holding in our bodies, right? So when we're in a constant state of just holding tension and never getting a chance to actually release it and let it go, or even realize that we're holding it, right? A lot of times you might be like, hey, I'm not holding any tension, but you go to do some movement and all of a sudden you can't move. A lot of times we're actually holding so much tension that we become numb to it and it's just normal for us. So we don't even recognize in ourselves that we're holding all of this tension in our bodies. We just don't realize it. And once you start to realize it, you can start to write a new story quicker and quicker and quicker, right? Because what ends up happening is this stuff works for right now, but somebody's gonna piss you off later, right? It's not that you have to do it right away, but now you have an awareness about your body that you know after we finish this, your body's gonna feel nice, calm, cool, and relaxed. Once you get more aware of that, you can notice the things, the activities, the people, the places that actually trigger you, and you can prepare yourself properly. What do I mean by that? You don't necessarily run away from the triggers that is happening, right? That's not gonna be a good idea to just avoid it, right? But be able to process it. You have something called a stress bucket, which is the analogy I always like to give it, but your stress bucket, if it's really high, chances are you're holding a lot of tension and emotions in your body. And once you do some practices similar to what we're doing right now to get rid of some of that tension and holding patterns, you now can see everything in a different light. And now the water that you would have, let's say the bucket can come up, like the bucket's this much, and if you're normally sitting around this high, you only have this much more room for stress. When we do these practices, you actually reduce the amount of stress that you have in the body so that if a stressful event comes up, it doesn't bring you all the way to the top where you blow up on somebody, or maybe you start to have health issues because your body's holding on to too much tension, your organs are overworking, and things just aren't working right in your body. You have autoimmune diseases, your body's attacking itself, right? Like, you don't want to be in that position. So that's why I suggest some of these things that we're doing here to process emotions so that your body's not working too hard and you can actually allow and let new concepts land and things come in for you. Boom, that's 4 minutes. Okay, the next one we're gonna do is literally just sitting here and breathing. You could sit in whatever position you would like. You could go into a position like this. I like to rotate. Sometimes I like to sit how I just was, but we're literally just gonna be here, and your goal is to just breathe. So we're going in, exhale. So we're trying to let everything out on those exhales, all right? So we're coming in, and then exhale. Not to the point where you're gasping for air, but a comfortable exhale and push just a little bit further. There you go. Just keep breathing, focusing on the breath. If you have thoughts come in, that's fine. Notice them. Just begin to focus on your breath again. And when I say focus on your breath, you can do this a couple different ways. Notice the inhale and how that affects your body. Is it expanding? What's it expanding? Your rib cage, your stomach. And then exhale, you can feel those sensations as you exhale. Notice, are you holding any tension patterns in your body while you're breathing? And you just want to relax things as you notice them. If you notice you're thinking a lot, you'll notice that your head and face will actually start to get tight. And then you just release that and come back to noticing the breath. You could just count your breaths too. So just on an inhale, you could just count it like 1, 2, and then exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Whichever style you resonate with. This is basically a meditation, and all a meditation is getting you to singularly focus. And when you're trying to quote unquote think about nothing, you need to distract yourself from that, right? So you give yourself one task. You don't not think about anything. You just give yourself one task and try not to get distracted. And then one task is paying attention to your breath, however you see fit. My favorite one is expanding the stomach on the inhale, and then exhale and feel the contraction. Now, whatever position you're sitting in, sit up nice and tall. Draw the crown of the head all the way up to the sky. Try to have a really straight spine. And we're just gonna take 5 breaths here. Trying to keep that spine as tall as possible. You're sitting right on your sits bones. Keep that spine nice and tall. Go. And then now we'll stand it up. And we'll just see how we feel compared to when we first started and we were just standing here. Just see how you feel. Just stand here. Whew. One thing that I always notice after I do this release is like, number one, I'm like way calmer. I'm pretty sure that you could tell in my voice now. I could just feel it. Like I'm just like, yeah. I just calm, like super calm. And then the other thing that I notice is there's like a light buzzing and tingling in my body. And throughout the practices that I've been doing, mostly like Qigong and Tai Chi, this is known as the Qi, or the energy in the body circulating. So once you start breaking some of those patterns of holding tension in your body, then you start to actually feel what is known as the Qi, right? Which is the energy moving throughout the body. You can actually feel that. Like I feel it a lot in my hands. Like it's almost like a light, airy kind of buzzy, tingling feeling in my hands, going up through here, and just on my feet, I just feel lighter. I don't feel like so bogged down. This is just my anecdotal evidence. You don't have to feel this stuff at all. And there's no specific way that you have to feel, but doing this over and over and over and over and over again will help you break those anger, pain, and stress patterns that you have. And in doing that, you can start to reprogram what you want, because in all of these practices that I'll be showing you guys and bringing to you, this is all to break the cycle that you're in right now, because everybody's wanting to get better, and that's probably why you're watching this video, right? You want to break the cycle that you're in right now and start a newer, better one, right? But you can't just add new stuff right on top of the old stuff. So what we're doing right now is basically an internal cleansing, right? We're cleaning the inside of your body from certain tension, stress, and emotion, so that you can program in what you want to program. We always think about, I'm gonna clean the outside of my body, I'm gonna take a shower, but what about that stuff that you do for the inside? This is just one part of a practice that you can do, but just know that, taking the concept and the idea of internal cleaning is really going to be help you go a long way, because that's exactly what we do in these different exercises that I'm showing you here, and some of the different ones that I have on Instagram and in other videos in here, where you're really just tapping in and tuning into yourself, and you're really dialing into a certain frequency. Right now, or before, the signal was a bit murky because you weren't on 97.5, right? You might have been on 97.9, and now what we've done is get rid of all the other things that are blocking you, right? So that now you're naturally here, because you have a natural frequency that you're at, and all we want to do is take out the bulk, take out the things that you no longer need, take out the things that are weighing you down, and then you naturally just go back. You don't have to fight and claw your way back. You have to get rid of the things that are holding you back. It's like if you were trying to run forward and you got 10 people holding you back. Of course, it's gonna be very hard to run forward. In fact, they'll probably pull you backwards. But what happens if you can slowly start to get rid of one person and one person and one person, the load gets easier and easier and easier, and you can go forward, right? Instead of just trying to fight all 10 people at the same time, which is always gonna be a losing battle, right? So that's a metaphor of what's going on inside of you. That mental pull that's always happening, we have quieted that down just a bit, right? You could obviously do a longer practice of this if you need more, right? But I'm gonna cut this video off here, and I hope that you guys liked and enjoyed that stuff. If you want to know more about the things that, the coaching and different things that we have going on here to help you improve your health, holistic health, and improve the way you look and you feel, go ahead and look at the description down below, and you'll be able to get in contact with us and just send us a quick text message so that we can guide you in the right areas. And if you stick around sometime this week, I'm gonna put another video out. And if you need more help than that, go ahead and check out all those links down below and send us a text. The text link is right down there. So that's it. That's all I got for you guys today. Peace.